So, as you're well aware, this month we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and the 5-year anniversary of the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, aka the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
And it's also going to, I think next month is going to mark the 10-year anniversary of when they started shooting Justice League, what we now know
Wow.
as Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's just,
Wow.
I can't believe it's been this long.
Same. Wow. Yeah. 10 years of BVS. That's another one that I distinctly remember watching in the movie theater and just coming out pretty much as emotional as I was with Man of Steel. And the crazy thing is, because of course, as we all know, BVS was surrounded by controversy and all of those sketchy reviews that came out all of a sudden, and all of that stuff that was printed and then was misprinted, and you name it. And funnily enough, I went into the movie. I mean, of course, I saw the theatrical cut and then I saw the ultimate cut, and I was like, oh, Jesus, this is what we were supposed to see. But I didn't come out of the theatrical version like, I couldn't understand why people could say that was a bad movie. I really couldn't. It really dumbfounded me. There was no moment whatsoever where I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I can understand why people didn't like it. I couldn't understand. And the thing is, it's a real shame that they forced that 2.5-hour version into the theaters instead of just going with the full three-hour length film. Because it really loses so much nuance and detail. To me, BVS is probably, in my opinion, the best comic book movie ever made. That one, specifically. The way that from beginning to end, it's just so clean. I mean, it hits every beat, every plot twist, everything is just so well placed. It's a work of art. That movie's amazing.
It truly is. Yeah, I would love to sit down with Chris Terrio and just talk to him about the script, for just how,
Yes.
I mean, just I watch, every time I watch the movie, it's like there's everything ties together, in some way or another. It's such a beautifully crafted story, and just like artistically speaking, it is a masterclass in filmmaking and screenwriting. And I'm sure people are laughing at the fact of me even saying that, but I don't care, because that's just how I feel. Uh, Based on everything that's in the movie, it's so deep, it's so complex, but not in a way that is like self-indulgent. It's not in a way that takes away from anything. I mean, yeah, I wish, uh, Henry Cavill's Superman, yeah, he had a very difficult time in that movie. I think it's fair to say, very
Sure.
challenged from everywhere, which is done purposefully, obviously.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. And, you think everything happens in that story and how it ties back to certain moments from earlier in the story and even the previous movie, and how it plants seeds at the same time for the next movie and the one after that, while also not taking away from the one that's currently happening. Right. I mean, that in itself is an accomplishment, you know?
Absolutely.
So it's so well done, masterfully done. And it's absolutely shocking to see, just to see people's negative response to it. And not even just like a negative response, like, oh, I didn't like it. It was like a very extreme, hardcore, a very hard no, at very, very emotional no for many people, which I was very surprised when I first saw that response to the movie. And obviously to some people that's maybe not changed, but I think over time it kind of has sort of lessened a little bit in how extreme people's views are with that movie in terms of the negativity of it.
Well, sure. I mean, uh, I couldn't agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's really it. I mean, if I were to comment on anything adding to that, I may be repeating what you just said, but the thing like you said, it's not just the negative response. It's not just I didn't like it. There was this kind of, dare I say, not very genuine hatred for the movie. That's what I felt. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel, I mean, people kind of poking fun at the movie. I just couldn't understand it. And especially after, having seen the movie time and time again. I mean, every sequence is just like, it's like a painting in motion. And the story is just, you see that everyone who worked on that movie really put their heart into it. Everyone, every single department did their absolute best work. And for people to kind of dismiss the movie as they did, I don't know. Without going too far down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but it just seemed like a lot of it was kind of like paid off, really. I mean, in terms of the reviews, and I mean, they were treating it as if it were some sort of B movie. I remember seeing one specific review and I said, how can the guy who made Man of Steel, which I absolutely love, how can he have made such a flop? And I went into the movie and then I just got even more confused. I said, we didn't see the same movie. I mean, this person who wrote this review didn't see the same movie that I did. It's just not possible. And
Exactly. Yeah.
and the fact that it stands the test of time, that nowadays so many people are kind of warming up to it that didn't at the time. It just shows how good of a movie it really is. If you think about it, I mean, great pieces of art weren't necessarily popular when they came out. I'm not sure if this is true. I mean, you can fact check me for this later, but I think that when Rhapsody in Blue was first played, that people just walked out of the theater, of the concert hall or whatever.
Very possible, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine that. How? But yeah, it happened.
Exactly. And there's been a lot of instances of that over the years. Citizen Kane, another
Sure.
uh
Yeah. Huge
iconic
example.
movie. Yeah, was not well liked at first, and then years later it became a classic, you know.
A classic.
Um
Yeah.
and I I know I'm towing a very, very fine line here, but I see comparisons to that with BVS compared to
Sure.
Citizen Kane.
Sure.
I see
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah. I see it too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the same level of detail and mastery and the same level of care in the filmmaking. Yeah, it's there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
and
agree.
when I think of those negative, the things that people don't, they say they don't like about the movie, you know, just thinking about them out loud, you know, like the whole like Batman doesn't kill aspect. The Martha moment's a big one. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I'm just, you know, what happens to Superman at the end of the movie. Like, there's a lot of things that I think people, but it was just, yeah, like you said, it's very bizarre how emotional they were about some of those decisions. And I think part of it's because maybe they weren't, kind of like Watchmen in a way. Maybe they just weren't ready for that at that specific moment in time. And, you know, like Christopher Nolan said, you know, I think it was the art book for Man of Steel. He said Watchmen was ahead of its time. It was ahead of the curve. I think it's resonating a lot more, and especially as we're seeing the landscape change with more of these superhero movies and just our culture and what's happening in our society in general. I think also has a role to play in that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, Watchmen was definitely ahead of its time. Definitely ahead of its time. And as were the other ones as well. I mean, Man of Steel, BVS, and even from a technical standpoint, you look at you look at the special effects and the visual effects in these movies. There are movies that come out nowadays that don't hold a candle to it.
No,
Wow,
incredible. Yeah,
incredible,
and
incredible.
I also want to give a shout out to like the other cast and crew members for that movie. Like I think of Larry Fong, Clay Enos, Patrick Tatopoulos, who did the set, obviously Chris Terrio, um, and just everybody who was involved with that movie. Huge
Oh,
shout out.
sure,
It's one of the few
huge,
movies that I actually watched the credits for. I just fascinated. I don't know why. It's was one of those few movies that I'll watch the credits and be like, oh, I know that person. I've seen that person. Like I follow them online, and um, yeah,
sure.
it's just it's weird. I know, but
Yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, from you know being deep into the fandom and um, at least in my case, having had the privilege to be with Zach personally on a number of occasions, um, it's really special to kind of get that connection with him and so many other people.
so there
I
was
mean,
obviously. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no problem. Just one little one small comment. Like we were talking about how both you and I couldn't really understand the negative backlash to BVS. I can't understand how people find, or should I say, how people don't find the Martha moment absolutely brilliant, because it crushed me when I saw that in the movie, and I think it's genius, and the way that it's presented is it's very heartfelt, and the way that you see how Superman at his most fragile moment and still showing his greatest strength, which is his spirit, his unbreakable spirit. The first thing that he was thinking about was, I have to save my mum, and without giving that identity away. And that flicker of hope just breaks Batman down and goes down to his greatest fear and greatest trauma and brings him back to being a human being. And people joke about that. That's just shameful.
It's so surface level, and I know I sound so pretentious when like saying that, but
No,
like
but I agree. I
yeah,
agree. It is. I mean, that really doesn't move you? Poof. I feel sorry for whoever feels that moment is a joke or something to point your finger at.
yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. Yeah, and there's so many good stuff about those movies, all the
Oh,
characters, all the plot elements, and
yes. We'd be
everything. That
here all day.
yeah, we 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 literally would be here all day. Yeah,
Yeah.
all day.